Good morning, everybody. Ori Spado here with another show of Stories with Ori. You know, folks, you always heard a saying in the mob genre, I was out of the life, but they pulled me right back in. You know, I've been around for several years with my book, The Accidental Gangster, from insurance salesman to Hollywood fixer. In my book, I state, if I could help one young man stay out of a life of crime, this book was worth it. I have helped several. In addition, folks, what you don't know about me, I was a businessman. I had successful businesses, and I was worth millions of dollars. And I teach these young men to become entrepreneurs, find a burning desire, You got to have it in your gut if you want to succeed. I teach them these things. But then I'm also a gangster. And so here I am on YouTube. You know, YouTube is a very unique place, particularly in the mob genre, because the people that have the most followers, get the most views, are rats. In the United States, we call them rats. Over in England, they're called grass. What is a rat? Well, there's two kinds of rats. There's one who literally gets on the witness stand, points his finger, and lies. And then there's the ones who proffer. A proffer statement is when they sit down with the U.S. Attorney and the FBI, and they talk about everybody they know. And they never have to get on a witness stand. Because when they tell them, they say that this Andy did this over in Chicago, it starts an investigation in Chicago on Andy. So you got to understand this here. Now, I have no problem with anybody what they do. The other thing I want to say, my book is about Ori Spado. It is not about Sonny Franzese. Let's get that straight. If I wanted to, I could have wrote a book on Sonny Franzese, like other people attempt to, but I knew Sonny's not going to tell the truth. But anyways, let's drop that. I want to tell you, there's a particular investigative reporter, she calls herself, with Newsday out of Long Island, New York. She wrote a book on Sonny. And, I want to give her a lot of credit, folks, because if you think it's easy to write a book, it's not. And next week, I'm going to have Peter Conti here, who teaches writing. He has written several books for actors and actresses. And in addition, he writes Hollywood scripts. And he teaches at Columbia University. So this guy's a real writer. He's written real books that sold over 100,000. So you're going to want to see that. I'm going to have Dr. Slava, okay? A motivator, doing wonderful, doing good things to make this world a better place. These are the kind of guests that I want on this show. But you people on YouTube want to pull me in, okay? So you want to pull me in? Let's get the truth out there. I got no problem with it. But there's a particular show. They say what Sandy says in her book is the gospel. It's not the gospel. So anyways, let's get that straight. Now let's talk about the WITSEC program. And I'm going to read you a little bit from a book so you understand. See, Sonny Franzese was not my best friend. I said that before. He was my friend. And I have a classification. I got best friends and I got friends. My best friends, I can call up any time of the day or night, and they're going to be at my door. They're going to be there to help me. I'm not sure about my friends. They say it, but will they do it? So really, truthfully, throughout the world, I have, in addition to my 3 children, I have 3 other friends, good friends. So I wanted to set this record on that. I'm going to read you from a book, How the WITSEC Program Actually Began. The book is called WITSEC, Inside the Federal Witness Protection Program, written by Pete Early and Gerald Scher. Please listen intently, folks. I'm asking you, stay with me and listen. Gerald Scher thought he was going to vomit. The black and white photograph in front of him showed a woman splayed on a tile floor with her throat slit. Not satisfied to simply kill her, the murderer had mutilated her body by cutting her open from throat to navel. He then yanked out several of her internal organs, leaving them displayed on her abdomen. The woman had been an informant, helping federal agents in a mob case, and the gruesomeness of her murder had been meant as a crude warning. Those who spilled their guts to the authorities risk having their own guts literally spilled up by the mafia. Sure, a young attorney in the U.S. Department of Justice Organized Crime and Racketeering Section in Washington, D.C., slid the photograph into a file folder and slipped it into his desk drawer. No need to have his secretary stumble upon it. The murdered woman, the 25th government informant killed in the past 5 years. It was October 1961, and Schur was still new at his job. He hadn't yet become accustomed to the viciousness that gangsters could unleash. An excited Internal Revenue Service agent telephoned him later that day. "We got a promising lead," the agent declared. "How fast can you get here?" "Sure, caught the next flight to New York City." The IRS had learned that John Sonny Franzese, a notorious member of the Colombo crime family, was extorting money from the owner of a trucking company. If the agency Schur could convince the owner to testify against Franzese, the government would be able to put one of the city's most violent gangsters in prison. "Two guys showed up at my business one day," the owner explained. After he welcomed Schur and the agents into his Long Island home, "These guys tell me Sonny Franzese wants to be my new business partner." I tell them, "Hey, I don't need a business partner." And they look at each other and laugh and say, "Oh yeah, you do." I told them to get out of my office. The next morning, one of the new trucks wouldn't start. Someone had poured sand in the carburetor. Still, he continued to ignore Franzese until 4 men attacked him with baseball bats. The last thing he remembered before being knocked unconscious was one of them telling him that Sonny wanted to see him. A few weeks after he was released from the hospital, he signed over half of his business to the Mobster. "What happens ain't right," he told Schur. "You guys in the Justice Department should do something." "If you testify," Schur explained, "we can tie Franzese directly to extortion and send him to prison for a minimum of 5 to 10 years. "Testify?" the owner asked. Schur was taken back. "Of course. We'll need you to tell a jury what he did. We can't make the case unless you testify." "I thought just telling you would be enough," he replied. "The mob will kill me and my entire family if I testify. No way am I speaking out against Sonny Franzese. I'd rather pull up stakes and move to Florida." "Suppose we put him in jail right away, I mean tonight." "What about tomorrow when he gets out?" "You don't really have a choice," Schur warned. "Sonny Franzese is going to bleed your business to death. He'll destroy it and ruin your reputation." Okay, folks, I'm going to stop right there. You want to learn more about this here, get this book about the witness protection. Why did I read that to you? And ironically, the first gangster that they mention here is Sonny Franzese. You know, I remember one day with Sonny, we had to drive into Manhattan, and he said, "Hey, buddy," he said, "look, you got to pick something up over here." We were at Rockefeller Center. They had a leather pouch full of cash for him. It was given to me by a security guard. I'm not going to tell you who was giving that money. You figure it out. Okay? Sonny was powerful, folks. Very powerful. But he was very smart. Now, you learn what used to happen to rats, to somebody who spilled their guts. But the world has changed. Today, these rats, they're still out there talking, but they're on YouTube. They're getting paid. They got followers. And you guys are following these people, listening to everything they say and thinking it's the gospel. But yet they lied on the witness stand. Don't you think they're lying to you? There's only one other person that I know of on YouTube that's not a rat. That's Joey Merlino. We need more guys. But the guys in the life, they're in the life. They ain't coming. I talk to people in New York. I still got friends there, folks. But some of you want to call me a rat. You want to call me a rat? You don't know shit. I did my time on a minimum mandatory sentencing guideline. Anybody with a little bit of a brain will know that the only way to break a minimum mandatory sentence is by ratting. I did not. It's all in my book. At the end of my book, I have my papers. You know, for those of you who've been to prison, you know when you go out on that yard, you better have your papers with you. Somebody wants to check you out. You have your papers. I've seen rats taken out the yard like that after getting beatings. Because sometimes they'll try to put a rat in the yard. And I want to talk to you more about prison life. Not today, but at another time. But folks, you drag me back in, I'm here. Take your pot shots at me, I don't give a shit. But you know, you want to talk about something, get your facts straight. Okay? Somebody tells me there's a guy with the initials of KG. I won't even mention this rat's name. He stole a tape from Jimmy Cacci. He was working with the FBI, and they assisted with him to put it on YouTube, saying it came from Persico. Okay? Persico did not post that there. That's the mistake that I made, folks. I was taping the FBI. That was the biggest mistake I made. But I know the laws, the rules, and the politics of La Cosa Nostra. And when I was taping them, I was on record with the commission. I'm one member of the commission. Because Sonny was in prison at the time. When Sonny got out of prison, he called me in and asked me about that. It took place at Tough Tony's in Corona. And he called Joe Todaro. And Joe Todaro in Buffalo affirmed that I went on record with. That was only one tape. I had 12. I destroyed them all. Just like I destroyed all the paperwork that I had on Michael Franzese. I put that to bed. I'm a man. I'm trying to do good things in this world, folks. But you people got a few subscribers trying to get views on YouTube, and you want to talk shit about people. Get your facts. Yeah, one guy said he read that other book, but he didn't say he read my book, did he? Maybe he needs $29. I'll send it to him. So, folks, this is the last time you're going to hear about this here from me. I want to thank you for the time. I'll see you next week with uplifting stories, with stories from Ori. Good afternoon.